James Bay and me Klinger at Lollapalooza. As soon as he took a seat here, I said, "You smell really good."
Which is that's a very particular compliment that we all want, and I do really appreciate you saying it because it doesn't get said a lot.
Well, now I'm going to follow it up with, is it bar soap, shampoo, cologne,
It's cologne.
or laundry detergent?
No, so I'm going to go with cologne.
Smells really good.
Cologne sounds the best as well.
Do you have a trophy case?
No.
An awards buffet table?
No, there's some shelves in my house.
They're full of
There are some.
glistening
There are some.
pieces of crystal with
There's-
plaques with your name and
That's cool.
congratulations or award in all caps.
Yeah.
Like, do you ever look at them? Do you show them off to friends, or are they
No,
just like?
they hold books up.
Oh,
They hold books up. They do that very well. There's one that I got that was very heavy, and I remember that night. It was at something called the Ivor Novellos in the UK, which is a songwriters thing, and I'm very sort of lucky to have received one.
Yep.
And it's by far the heaviest award of all time, literally the heaviest thing. And we went straight out to town to celebrate and stuff. I genuinely had to put this thing in my pocket. I happened to have quite big pockets that night, and I was walking around like a total fool. Nobody really noticed. Everyone was really drunk, but it was very heavy. It was
until somebody went, Mr. Bay, is that a roll of quarters in your pocket,
or yeah,
or just a massive award?
yeah, exactly. At which point I blushed.
You should.
I think I should have. Yeah.
Hey, did you take piano lessons as a kid?
No.
Boring. Anybody that I ever met that has taken piano lessons, they're forced to take them. They don't want to take them, and as soon as 3 or 4 years of lessons is over, they never play the piano again.
In that respect, I'm kind of glad I didn't. And you know why I'm also glad I didn't? Is the thing about songwriting is that often on the instrument, whatever the instrument is, guitar, whatever you're writing, bass, whatever you're writing, the less you know, the less like theory and stuff that you know how to do, the more things you'll kind of stumble across that aren't necessarily playing by the rules of how to play an instrument.
Like a sound?
Well, a chord progression or something, or even
Yeah.
a melody. And then like the cooler songs you usually find.
That's a really interesting perspective because you're such a good musician at these instruments,
Well,
right?
I went pretty deep on the guitar, and I still find it a very inspiring instrument. It feels like an extra limb. Like I do love playing the guitar, but I find myself, once I've kind of got the melody and know what I want to write about, I'll go to the piano so that I stop focusing on the music so much, and I just have the bare basics there to sing to and think about the words and think about the sentiment and all of that. So that's why I like the fact that I'm a terrible piano player.
There's a song, I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's called Let It Go. Do you know that song?
I know it.
Do you know it well?
Well enough.
That's a goosebump song for me, and I just wanted to take the opportunity on a personal note to say thank you for providing a soundtrack to a certain point in my life, and I think I'm not the only one that feels that way.
Oh, man, that means the world. It's a really big deal to me that I can write a song, and if any of my friends even like it, that's cool. And then if people further around the world connect with it, all around the world end up connecting with it, that's a very magical thing that I still don't quite sort of fully, I guess, appreciate. And I almost hope I never quite grasp it entirely because it's a very magical thing. And to not fully grasp it means I'll keep writing and trying to do that same thing again with songs.
Yeah, don't get too sensitized to it, right?
I don't want to, no.
You're at Lollapalooza. Today's Friday. We're in Chicago.
It's maybe one of my favorite festivals. Not even a maybe. It's definitely one of my favorite festivals that I've been to. I came here in 2015. It's Friday, yeah, as well. That's a very cool feeling. And as a Brit, it's my responsibility to bring the great weather, which I think I've done all right with.
Well, can you come back every year? Because we've had Mother Nature kind of being a little bitch about it.
I've heard this. Last year, no good.
Like, I mean, it is good, and then it's not good.
And there's like a storm.
And then everybody retreats off the field and puts tinfoil hats on.
Is that wise?
Yes.
Okay. Well, this is one of my favorites.
Tell me this. You mentioned the guitar.
Yeah.
Does James Bay have a guitar, his go-to guitar? Do you carry a guitar with you in a cab, an Uber, on a plane, in a hotel room so that you always have it, and does it have a name?
It doesn't have a name. I'm not into naming guitars. I don't quite. I love guitars, but they are not people. They're fantastic. They're nearly people. They have a lot of emotion in them, clearly. But I do try and keep one as close to me at all times as I can, and because you never know when an idea will strike. And you never know, a lot of the time, you get so familiar, and I guess the reason why I do this for a job now is because I loved to play the guitar so much when I was younger, and I never wanted to leave a guitar alone. So, you know, I always want one nearby, and it kind of helps on many levels. It's a therapy as much as anything else, you know.
I have 2 things left for you.
All right.
Number 1, congratulations on the birth of a record that's about 2.5 months old. It can't really crawl yet. It's still in its infant stages.
It's still learning to talk.
And to that, I will also say, you've burned a lot of fuel in a tour bus going around North America playing those songs for North American fans.
Yeah.
To introduce them to this new can I call it a child?
Please.
What do you look at music? When you release a new record, what do you call it? It's very personal.
Well, the funny thing about it is whatever I call it, it sort of stops being mine so much anymore.
I understand that.
This is an interesting thing, and I love that. Because I think, you know, although initially it feels like mine because I'm creating it,
yes.
The excitement that follows that is the bigger excitement, and that is the feeling of I can't wait for everyone else to hear this because it's going to be, I want it to be theirs. I want them to, you know, adopt it, essentially. So that's my favorite thing about the process, I think. So, yeah, it's 2.5 months old, and people are still just sort of wrapping their ears around it. And, yeah, I've just even this year we went around the States for a few weeks, introducing a lot of these new songs to people before the record had come out. So, and then the record came out just after that tour. And I'm excited to be here and playing, you know, at things like Lollapalooza. Because you can reach so many people, new people and people who are familiar with the record and people who've lived with it every day since it came out. And you can really get an idea of, like, what the songs are doing and you know, how they're growing.
It's almost an instant read, isn't it?
Yes. And the more you play, and this is why you try and play live as often as possible, the more you play, the more of a read you get.
This is James Bay. It's me, Klinger. We're in the Jack Daniels Interview Lounge with iHeartRadio at Lollapalooza. I am so glad you carved out 5 minutes of time, man. And I can't wait to see a James Bay show.
Oh, it's going to be fun. Nice to see you.
Likewise.
Nice one, man.